Minister for Science and Technology, Minister for Earth Sciences, Minister for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, MOS PMO, Department of Space and Department of Atomic Energy. A warm welcome to you, sir. We are also honored to have Secretary DSIR and DGCSIR, Dr. N. Kalai Selvi. The format of the presser will be, friends, first there will be a presentation by DGCSIR about the society meeting to be held tomorrow, chaired by Prime Minister, about the achievements of the CSIR and also the vision of the CSIR. And it will be followed by a brief statement by Honorable Minister, and then the floor will be open for the question and answers. The live link of this presser has also been shared with the SNT Beat Media reporters and others. So if you have any questions, you are free to WhatsApp me your questions, and the same will be answered. So the first, I request DGCSIR to have her presentations. Please, ma'am.
A pleasant morning to every one of you. Thank you for this opportunity. I also join my good friends in extending a very warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, who has agreed upon to chair this particular session, and to always, he is shouldering the responsibility of CSIR, and today also he has demonstrated through this event also one more time. Again, my thanks and my appreciations are due to the esteemed audience, those who are here, press and media, and my good friends. So today I'll be just taking 10 to 15 minutes of your very valuable time just to talk about where are we and what is it that is going to happen tomorrow in a great way, and what is it that CSIR is having in our mind for next few years. So as all of you know, CSIR has completed 80 years of its establishment, because it was established in the year 1942. And just recently, CSIR, on 26th of September 2022, this organization has completed 80 successful years. And as all of you know, CSIR is a network of 37 national laboratories, which were situated in various cities of this nation. 26 places, we have these 37 national institutions. And this institution, this CSIR organization, it is having around 3,000 plus scientists, 4,000 plus technical staff, and 2,500 plus admin staff, and around 5,500 PhD students. And these 5,500 PhD students are pursuing PhD under Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, which we call it as ACSIR. And CSIR is well known for its publications, both nationally as well as in international journals. And we do have our credit patents, both in India patent as well as patents abroad. And this one website clearly showcases that what are the strengths of CSIR, meaning is how many technologies are available in our kitty as on date, and how many scientists and how many students are there in this particular big family. Coming to the very important event that is going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to have the CSIR Society meeting. This meeting is the highest society. CSIR Society is the highest body of the CSIR. This kind of society meeting will be normally held every year, once in a year. It's an annual meeting. And this society is having a tenure of 3 years. And this particular society was constituted in the year 2019. And therefore, this tenure will be valid up to 5th of November this year. 2 meetings were already conducted in the years 2020 and 2021. And this is the 3rd meeting, and this is the last meeting for this particular list of society members. And coming to who are all the members of CSIR Society? CSIR is one such unique organization. I would say we are abundantly blessed by this nation, because the national leadership is the president of CSIR. We always consider it as our extra pride. And again, in that extra pride, we are having our Minister of Science and Technology as a Vice President of CSIR Society. So in the society, apart from Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, we have Minister of Finance and Minister of Commerce and Industry. 2 more ministers are there in the society as members. Then we have 13 secretaries from the Government of India, including all secretaries of scientific ministries. And we have PSA, Dr. Ajay Sood, as a member. Then we have CMDs from 4 PSUs, like NTPC, BHEL, GAIL, and HAL. And 2 directors from our own CSR institution. They are also the members. And 3 industry leaders, community members. Now, this is what CSR version there is. CSR is the simple CSR's technology. Chemicals area or chemical, electronics or leather industry, health and wellness, aroma, everywhere the country CSR is today. If you prime target areas, are being taken care by CSR. The standards formulation committee, digital library. Extended tech and center of functioning with a national. So these are all few reasons. The 2-seater hobby as well. And of course, Slag Road. Slag waste could be utilized as a road. I think it is the following the foreign footwear system. It's an UK based as well as sometimes we go with the Europe based system also. This is the first time country has taken initiative and CSR has volunteered, and we are now coming up with the Indian footwear system. And very recently, just 2-3 days back, the hydrogen hydrate plant, which is following CSR's technology, was also declared open, and they started their production also. And of course, the very important thing, Noida Twin Tower demolition, it was done by an agency, and the agency was selected by CSR because the Honorable Supreme Court entrusted the responsibility to CSR to help by way of offering advisory and technical consultancy for the safer demolition of Noida Twin Towers. So that is what we played a role. So this is one slide I can tell that CSR, we are now finding our road ahead for the next few years. because country is now running through a very, very important period, which we call it as Amartakal. And from 75 years, we are now marching towards the 100 years of India's independence. So by the time we'll be celebrating the 100 years of India's independence in the year 2047, we from Cscr, we should also get ourselves geared up in what are the best ways we can really take up the scientific visions of this country. And therefore, we had this vision document related meetings, lab-wise, 37 labs. Thanks to again the former leader, he has taken 37 meetings with labs. Therefore, lab-based thematic visions we realized. Then 8 meetings we held with the thematic directorates. With these 45 meetings now, Cscr has arrived at a final vision document. This vision document is very much in line with the National Vision 2047. You can ask me what's the crux of this vision document. Crux is very simple. Cscr, we believe and we commit that we will become national leader in the year 2030, and we will make Cscr as well as India as global leaders in the year 2047. With these two things, the vision document is already finalized. And by the time we are completing 80 years, at least now we can proudly say that in these 8 areas, Cscr is giving its major contribution, starting from global sustainable goals, society, industry, strategic sector, national initiatives, rural, technical HR, and urban. Thank you so very much. And now
because they are interested in the event tomorrow, so kindly give them the names of the members who are going to attend the meeting tomorrow.
Oh, sure.
Because that is the immediate, purpose of their having spent time over here. Because I'm sure they are all informed audience, so you know very well about CSIR. But what is the per se immediate reason for us to gather is the event. So just if you could spell out the names of the eminent persons who are going to.
So tomorrow the meeting will be attended by the Honorable Prime Minister, who will be chairing them. Then our Minister of Science and Technology, Minister of Finance, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman will also be participating. Then Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal will be participating. Then apart from that, Dr. T.V. Somanathan, Secretary Expenditure, Dr. Mrs. Anandavalli, Director SCRC Chennai, Dr. Srinivasa Reddy, Director CSR IICT Hyderabad, then Shri Baba Kalyani, CMD Kalyani Group, Bharat Forge Limited, Pune, Shri Gurdeep Singh, CMD NTPC, New Delhi, Professor Vijay Raghavan, former PSA, Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, eminent scientist, Professor Ajay Kumar Sood, PSA to the Government of India, Shri Vyas, Secretary DAE and Chairman AEC, Dr. Samir Kamath, Chairman DRDO, New Delhi, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Secretary, Department of Defense Production, New Delhi, Dr. Rajiv Bal, Secretary, Department of Health Research, New Delhi, Shri Somnath, Secretary, Department of Space, Dr. Nalin Sinhal, CMD, BHEL, Shri Sandeep Kumar Gupta, CMD, GAIL, Shri Ananta Krishnan, CMD, HAL, Bangalore, Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, former Director, IIT Madras, Professor Sharmistha Banerjee, School of Life Sciences, Hyderabad, Dr. Rashna Bandari, Staff Science, CDFD, Hyderabad, Professor Vijay Bhatkar, Shri Natarajan Chandrasekharan, Chairman Tata Sens, Mumbai, Professor Sangamitra Bandobhatyaya, Director, ISI, Kolkata, Shri Kiran Kumar, former Chairman, ISRO, Bengaluru, Professor Sandeep Trivedi, former Director, TIFR, Mumbai, Professor Sudhir K. Jain, Vice Chancellor, BHU, and former Director, IITG and Varanasi, and Shrivari Chandrasekhar, Secretary, DST, New Delhi. So 32 members will be attending tomorrow's meeting.
Thank you, ma'am, for successfully capturing the 80-year-old historical legacy of CSIR in 13 slides. And you have rightly said that the vision of CSIR, the crux of the vision is to become a national leader by 2030. And CSIR and the science and technology STI will propel India to become a global leader in 2047. Now I invite Dr. Jitendra Singh, whose philosophy and mantra is the total vision or the crux or the credo or the philosophy of all scientific endeavors is to bring the ease of life in the life of the common man, ease of living for the common man. So I request Dr. Jitendra Singh ji to give his brief remarks.
No, thank you, Shambhuji. Now, without taking much of your time, because I'm sure you are all hard pressed, the immediate reason of all of us coming together is just to share with you that we have this practice of having a society meeting chaired by the President, who is the Prime Minister of India. And this is an annual feature. The society lifespan is 3 years, and this is the third year. I think this month the tenure of this society would come to an end, and I'm glad that and also grateful that Prime Minister has spared time because of he was following a very pressing routine in the last few weeks. In spite of that, he's given us time to convene this meeting. And incidentally, this also assumes significance because this is we have just completed 75 years of independence, and incidentally also completed the 80 years of CSIR, as was being mentioned by the Director General, having begun in 1942 with, I think, possibly the first laboratory in Jammu, headed by Sir Ramnath Chopra, and now we have a whole galaxy of 37 laboratories, each of them dedicated to different themes. And what has been important in the last 3 years, because when we report to the President and then also receive the President's guidelines, the roadmap for the next 1 year, I think it's also important to recall the major hallmarks of what has happened during the last 3 years of this society being in place. I think this, because of the special patronage, indulgence and personal interest taken by the President or the Prime Minister of the country and President of the CSIR, each of our laboratories has been successful in distinguishing itself in one or the other way. Like, for example, as she was mentioning, the drone came from Bangalore, the heliport technology came from Hyderabad, the aroma mission and the purple revolution came from Jammu, the first hydrogen fuel bus came from Pune, the steel slag, what she was referring to for the road construction frame, from your Delhi laboratory, and now we also, with the encouragement and endorsement received from the President CSIR, the Prime Minister, I think another major achievement was that the traditional knowledge digital library has now been made accessible and open to the other stakeholders as well, which was earlier on limited only to the patent holders. And we have also engaged in with the Ministry of Culture in an exercise of opening science museums. So these are some of the hallmarks in the last 1 or 2 years during the tenure of this society. This is something that we need to recall and present before the President and then receive his... and of course, I think one important feature which I was telling when the DG took place, of course, that is also something I can point out, that it is after 80 years that we have a woman DG now in CSIR. So that is also something which has happened only during this tenure. And the day she took over, one of the aspects that I pointed out to her was that CSIR needed to emphasize on the alphabet I. So I had not been given the kind of emphasis that it deserves. So it is Council of Scientific Industry Research. And I'm glad that now we are in the process of engaging industry in a very big way. Rather, I personally feel making it a stakeholder, equal stakeholder right from the beginning, so that they feel the pinch of being stake, not the glory of being stakeholder, so that they hold on to us, to our research and development, and also sustain our startups and sustain our research projects. So these are some of the features which have happened in the recent past, and I think that's about all. I don't want to take time. Depending on what exactly you are interested on, we'll talk about it further.
Now the floor is open for the media, please. Mr. Bhatia.
Sir, what is the agenda of the meeting, tomorrow meeting, sir? Main features, what you are going to discuss? And sir, this CSIR is working in the field of health also, sir?
Yes.
But there is no mention about the health. During last 2 years, we all India, means all world were suffering so many with health problem like corona and other things. And most important, sir, nowadays, the cancer medicine is the most expensive medicine in India. One of our journalist friend is taking a medicine of 6 lakh rupees, vaccines, sir. So is there any progress by CSRI to invest or to have a new medicine for the cancer?
No, thank you very much. I am glad that you raked up this subject. In fact, this is something that I have to appeal to you. If our work during COVID times in the health sector has not been noticed, I don't like to complain to the media, but I just request them to be kind enough in future. Actually, what is happening is, and I've been saying this without mincing any words, most of what has happened during the COVID time was actually developed in one or the other wing of the Science and Technology Ministry. Like, for example, the first DNA vaccine. You gave all the credit to the manufacturers and the marketeers. You didn't give any credit to the Faridabad lab. Person is there. Is he here?
DBT.
So that's part of Science and Technology Ministry. So our Faridabad lab under biotechnology did all the trials for the first ever vaccine. Unfortunately, didn't receive a mention. So I think we need to, beat the drum a little more, which I have started doing, learning from the experience in the media. Similarly, the remdesivir, which made so much in news, everybody would sit in the panel and talk about remdesivir, whether he knew or not. So virtually everybody turned into a doctor during COVID times. You were short of even panelists. That entire remdesivir trial was being done in our Pune lab. And nobody was asking us about what it was all about. Nobody was asking the biotechnology department or the Faridabad lab about what was the DNA. Now we have come out with a nasal, because I'm talking in the terms of the COVID pandemic. Very rightly has been put that where was CSIR during this time. So the nasal vaccine for COVID and other infections is also being developed by this ministry, Department of Biotechnology. We have recently engaged into a MOU with the Serum Institute Pune. They will be manufacturing. And that's why I said we must own it. And the day we held the ceremony, the next day, all the newspapers are full of the interviews with the Serum Institute representatives rather than the biotechnologists. So I think there is maybe we are not able to make ourselves so visible, or we are not that news savvy. So that is the reason. But I take the cue. I think we should be more, the outreach has to increase, and all of us should work in that direction. So most of what is happening, similarly, about the
Cancer vaccine.
Just one. About cancer, one of the aspects is herpes. I'm telling you, the entire everything that is now in the market in the last 2 years has one or the other way sought the assistance or the services of one of these agencies in the ministry. Now, herpes virus vaccine, which is notorious in contributing to cervical cancers in women, has been developed by same Department of Biotechnology. The launching was done, but unfortunately that was hardly reported, except we made some noise in our social media, but not in the mainstream. So when the manufacturer comes out, because they have their own means of, making news, so I would rather request, because as I was saying that day, the script writers are not getting the attention, the hero, heroine are getting. But a wise critic will always try to find out, okay, dialogue kisne likha tha, lyric kiska tha, sangeet kiska tha. So unfortunately, you are noticing the heroine and heroine going around the tree, but not attending to the script writers. I mentioned that day also, at the risk of sounding little unorthodox. So these are actually script. Now similarly, as far as tuberculosis is concerned, now the entire country is observing this TB Mukt. But do we know it is the Jammu Laboratory of International Integrated Medicine which is developing a indigenous drug for drug-resistant tuberculosis. So similarly, each of our labs is dedicated to one or the other specialized sector. We have this Dehradun lab, the director is sitting there. They are recycling used cooked oil. But when you talk of waste to wealth, you talk in the terms of industry. But you don't talk in the terms of the Dehradun lab. I'm not sure even many people know his address over there. So that is the point. So I think we need to, thanks for the first time, Prime Minister Modi has started giving some kind of a priority and some kind of esteem to the scientific fraternity, so that they are feeling now more confident to come out with their best. So I think gradually we will evolve to that level, but much of work is being done in health sector, and in COVID times especially. The reusable PP kits were developed by the Department of Atomic Energy, which is also associated with me. Hardly anybody knows this. We were the first. They found out means of reusing ventilator. Now ventilator was developed by the Department of Science and Technology, and all the credit goes to IIT Kanpur, and then the manufacturer. In Parliament House in the Lok Sabha, we have installed the same CSIR. They have installed an ultraviolet wave. What is that technology called? No, that is called UV technology. That is UV technology. Inside the air conditioners, they have fitted. नहीं लोक सभा में
कोविड के समय बाटिया
नहीं कोविड में डाली थी वो तो है लगी हुई दैट इज फिटेड इनसाइड द एयर कंडीशनर्स so that that sanitizes the air ventilators वो उसका भी कोई ज़्यादा चर्चा नहीं हुआ so that's why I keep patting their backs because somebody has to pat your own back
भाटिया जी के लिए जानकारी के लिए बता दूं
but I'm glad आपने ये पूछा अब इससे शायद the media will also be more interested
1 सितंबर को हमने सेरवावैक वैक्सीन लॉन्च किया था जिसमें सीरम इंस्टीट्यूट से अडार पूनावाला जी भी आए थे और वो जॉइंट पीसी हुई थी उसमें सर ने ये मेंशन किया था कि जो
बाद में खबर इनकी नहीं आई उनकी आई तो हम क्या करेंगे
नेक्स्ट प्लीज या 100
because I have no hesitation in saying with all the confidence in my command our scientific capacities and scientific talents are world class now second to none and some of these initiatives are actually first in the world DNA vaccine nasal vaccine in the world is actually picking up our cues similarly also in space technology
so Jacob down here sir. Jacob from the Hindu. Two questions. One is the meeting that will be held tomorrow. Where will it be held? That's one. Secondly, in 2015 there was a similar discussion as part of the meeting, I believe, and there was this Dehradun declaration. So one of the important things discussed there was whether CSIR labs should be contributing or should be ensuring that a percentage of their revenues from labs are generated through IPR and intellectual property, etc. So, will there be such discussion this time also?
The first point is, of course, the meeting is being chaired by Prime Minister, so they will decide the venue. Let them take a call by the evening. Secondly, about this generating revenue, of course, that's why I said we have to emphasize on the I part of it. So, industry linkage is very important. Industry linkage right from the beginning. That would also make up for what we were discussing. What is happening is then when you develop the product proves to be successful, the industry takes it up. And then industry becomes the owner, and since the industry has to market it, they get the name also. If you are associated right from the beginning, then you will be able to, the industry will also keep a track. And there will be some amount of financial support also. And particularly in startups, the startups don't get lost then. Because of the industry, I personally believe that they let the industry tell us what kind of expertise they require, what kind of startups they want us to train or to do capacity building by way of knowledge sharing. We'll do that. But let them own them, let them fund them, and let them, and obviously when they are funded, they'll try to have them back also once they are through with the project. So I agree with you. And in the times to come, the integration has to be much, much more. And I'm glad that Honorable Prime Minister has also given us support for that. That is how the space technology, now we have almost 60 startups within just 2 years. 102, yes, from 2 to 102 we went. We were 2 before the space was unlocked. Now we are 102 with the public-private participation just in 3 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Sir, Kalyan here from Deccan Herald.
Kalyan from Deccan Herald.
Yeah. So both you
The
and the DG.
Hindu and Deccan Herald also should, we will arrange for you because I said the Hindu and Deccan Herald, we'll arrange for you if you so prefer. You should also concentrate on the other stream of science which we are dealing with, the ocean science. Because much of initiative,
we'll love
that again, India is ahead of everybody else. Our Samundariyaan has been launched from
Sir,
the Chennai port. So again we are ahead of others because we have the advantage of having such a big ocean.
Sir, both you and the DG mentioned about opening up of TKDL. Okay, so what exactly are you going to plan with TKDL? Will there be a website where everybody can go and get
No,
the
there's
TKDL
already,
information?
TKDL is a digital library. It's already in place. And this idea actually also originated in NDA 1 when Mr. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. It was further developed by the present government. In between, the UPA government put a restriction on it, confining its access only to patent holders. So this government has actually liberated that, as we have, tried to undo many of the regulations which were not in conformity with the ease of research or ease of science. So now this digital library of traditional knowledge is accessible to others as well, the other stakeholders, even to the private parties. Of course, with certain terms and conditions, they can have an arrangement with the concerned ministry, the MOU with the concerned department. But it will not that it is inaccessible. So we can actually synergize the best of the traditional knowledge with the best of the modern knowledge, depending on the context that we are dealing with.
Pranab Prakhar from Vision Television. I just want to find out of all the labs that CSIR has, how many is BSL 4, because Biosafety 4 labs, because we have just seen during COVID there was a little issue with the labs not being able to, BSL, not enough lab in India in BSL 4 category. USA has 13 or 14 of those labs.
You want to?
We have BSL 3 only with a few of our labs. No, I think time has come. We will definitely plan for that because Honorable Prime Minister has asked us to be prepared for the future pandemics also. So to address that particular point, CSR may come up with a kind of action plan on that.
Any plan about the geographical part where you want to expand?
Not exactly. No, actually we have biology labs situated in few places, like we have one lab in Delhi itself, and one in Lucknow, one in Kolkata, and one lab in Hyderabad, and even Pune labs are also doing. So depending upon the requirement and the number of scientists who are having core expertise in that particular field, such kind of a plan will be coming up.
Also because the pandemic took everybody by surprise, so this is not an issue which is only confined to the CSIR. In fact, infections. In fact, the other day I was sitting with the medicos in AIMS. I said, we have done injustice to you. The last 20, because I've been a teacher for almost a quarter of a century, we were not giving much of emphasis on the teaching of communicable disease. So all of them concentrating on non-communicable disease, the policy planners, the teachers, the media, on hypertension, heart disease, diabetes. They thought the communicable disease era was over, the infections were over with the advent of antibiotics, which happened earlier, before 1960s. Most of the mortality happened with cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis. So now that was over. Suddenly this pandemic took everybody by surprise, including the medical fraternity. But again, hats off to the fraternity that they geared up overnight.
Yeah, Mr. Naresh Vats. Yeah.
बिल्कुल की है और आप you will like to tell?
Yeah.
Unmanned sewage cleaning.
Yeah, sewage cleaning and also recycling of the sewerage water. In fact, हमारा प्लांट लगा हुआ है यहाँ मोती बाग में भी एक जो रेजिडेंशियल एरिया है सिविल सर्वेंट्स का recycling of the
CMERA's technology.
sewage water.
Durgapur's technology. See, there is one lab called CMERA Durgapur. So based on their technology, this unmanned sewage cleaning technology is developed. And even with the sewage related things, I wish to make one point that with the kind of analysis that was done during this COVID period also, CSR was able to come up with some kind of a prediction about the spread of corona also. So for which even recently we got one Golden Peacock Award also for that. So these are the attempts that we
लेकिन जो आपने
made
पूछा
already.
उसका एक बड़ा महत्व ये है कि ये जो हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं इनकी जानकारी पर्याप्त तौर पर उपलब्ध नहीं है। ये आपने अच्छा किया, सीवेज की रिसाइकलिंग का काम हो रहा है। इसी तरह से अन्य अनेकों ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी, हेलीबॉर्न टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हमें जल शक्ति मंत्रालय को अब उसका परिचय दिया तो वो काफ़ी बड़ी मात्रा में उसका उपयोग लगे करने। पहले उसकी जानकारी नहीं थी कि वो कुआं, पुराना ज़माना जाता रहा, जब कुआं खोदते थे फिर नीचे निकलता कुछ नहीं था तो मैन पावर वेस्टेड, पैसा वेस्टेड। अब वो हेलीकॉप्टर के नीचे कैमरा होता है, वो आइडेंटिफाई कर लेता है कहाँ पर ग्राउंड वाटर है कहाँ नहीं है। इस तरह से अनेकों हमारी ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज है जिनकी जानकारी का अभाव है। इसलिए मैंने कहा टेक्नोलॉजी हर उपलब्ध है, जो वर्ल्ड क्लास टेक्नोलॉजी बाहर है वो यहाँ पे भी है। जैसे रीयूज़ ऑफ कुक्ड ऑयल मैंने कहा, वो हमारे यहाँ भी है। रीयूज़ ऑफ वेस्टेड मटेरियल, चाहे वो प्लास्टिक है चाहे दूसरा, सब कुछ है। इवन अब हमने एक ये भी क्रम शुरू किया है कि अलग अलग मंत्रालयों के साथ हमारे वैज्ञानिक बैठते हैं और उनको अवगत कराते हैं कि क्या क्या आपके लायक हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी है, और फिर वो अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट बताते हैं। उससे रेलवे के इतने सारे एक्सीडेंट होने लगे आज से 3-4 वर्ष पहले, तो रेलवे वालों को हमने थोड़ा सा उनके आगे ये बात रखी कि हमारे पास ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी है, स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से पोटेंशियल ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिंग ऑब्जेक्ट अगर 1 किलोमीटर दूर तो उसका पता चल जाता है, ड्राइवर ब्रेक लगा सकता है। अब धीरे धीरे उन्होंने अनमैन्ड क्रॉसिंग्स में भी लिया। तो आपका कहना ठीक है कि सेक्टरल, और ये बात भी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के ही कार्यकाल में हुई कि साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी एप्लीकेशंस बीइंग अप्लाइड फॉर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट, पर्टिकुलरली स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी 2014 से पहले केवल रॉकेट भेजने तक ही सीमित थी। आज स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी हर सेक्टर में है, स्मार्ट सिटी में है, रोड हाईवेज में है, रेलवे में है, हेल्थ में तो है ही है।
और नरेश जी, वो जल शक्ति मंत्री गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत जी के साथ जोधपुर में मंत्री जी ने ये हेलीबॉर्न टेक्नोलॉजी को
हमने पहली बार एक
launch
प्रोजेक्ट
किया था,
शुरू किया पायलट,
जिसमें गुजरात, हरियाणा, पंजाब, ये जो वाटर स्कैसिटी स्टेट्स है, राजस्थान, इसमें उस टेक्नोलॉजी के द्वारा हम वाटर लेवल, वाटर टेबल, वाटर अवेबिलिटी ये सब पता लगा सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज, 6-9।
Hi, I'm Mohana Basu from the print. Sir, when are we expecting the Shanti Swaroop Bhatnagar Awards, and also what was the thought behind reducing the number of awards within the Science Ministry, different departments of the Science Ministry?
No, I don't think this is the right occasion for that. I don't want the focus to shift from CSIR and the DG CSIR even tomorrow, but nevertheless, I think the noble idea was the streamlining of the awards and to restore the coveted position of the coveted awards.
Yeah, please, Vedanta.
We'll fix up a date. The earlier awards have already gone, many of them. Oh, COVID ke daran we could not hold the ceremony. Let's see, because the time lapse has been about 3 years. So.
Yeah, this time we missed it because there is Foundation Day and Shanti Swaroop Bhatnagar on 26th. But first, I congratulate CSIR for attaining 80 and more years to with it. One thing that strategy for road ahead, because CSI is working in diverse fields, from road research to leather to Badarba Valley. We have seen this purple revolution this time. In Northeast, we are doing. In fuel, we are doing with IP Dehradun, yes.
Even
there cannot be one
Purple
strategy
Revolution,
for
my
road
humble
ahead.
appeal is to the mainstream media. Not a single big story from the mainstream of the Purple Revolution, which is actually simultaneously representing so many things. It is representing an entirely new, game-changing, gateway in agriculture sector, in agri startups, also living up to the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat, also signifying the best use of the modern technology in agriculture, everything. So I think we'll.
Okay, I will arrange a press tour very soon.
So
No,
there
no,
can
that
be
will
one
be there, but
strategy, one strategy
even
for
without
road
that,
ahead.
you could be kind enough.
There must be a group of strategies to address all the CSR laboratories. Have CSR any planned out some strategies for some specific sectors?
Should I answer? Yeah, actually, as already mentioned by the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, in the coming days, industry will be our focus. The thing is, now we are going to give our focus on 2 areas. We will be coming up with call for proposals, wherein we will be addressing industry-based problems or requirements. This is first category. Second one is societal issues. So these are the 2 major areas under which CSR will be hereafter designing projects. As already told by the Honorable Minister, hereafter every project will be conceived in the form of a technology, meaning is we will be roping in 1 or more industries from the day one, so that when it is getting maturity, when the technology is getting maturity, the industry becomes our launch vehicle to implement it for the societal application.
I think in the last 1 year we have already started in that direction. You'll see the change very soon. I mean, it was moving on in a very stereotype manner. We are not going to have it like that. I mean, we don't have the industry members on the society just as ceremonial, for ceremonial presence. We'll make them as active participants and active stakeholders, so that we are able to sustain. The next level of challenge for all of us across the country would be sustainable startups. As you very fashionably talk about sustainable goals, nobody talks of sustainable startups. Has anybody done a study to follow up the startups who started maybe 5 years back? Where have they gone? Have they ended up becoming civil servants or housewives or teachers? If not, if yes, then maybe we have to do some course correction. We are already very conscious about it. And in fact, I have advised that we have an award for this woman, TDB award for them. So I said first, that was started 10 years ago. So let's find out where are those young women and girls who were awarded 10 years back. Are they still continuing in the same pursuit? And that, if it's not happening, it's because we are not integrating all the stakeholders in a manner that they could produce an ecosystem which would, confine them to that pursuit, or possibly give them such a huge stake that they would not move out. And also give it a proper, sufficient means of livelihood angle.
One online question has been addressed to DG CSIR, ma'am. This is from Pallav Bagla. Can and will CSIR collect the DNA and cells of cheetah, which is Prime Minister's flagship program, since CSIR CCMB Hyderabad has the best expertise?
Actually, for this one, right, immediately I can't say whether we will be able to do it, but I'm definitely making it as a point number 1.
You can ask Pallav Bagla, does he have any information about it?
No, but I think one wildlife conservation lab, CCMB, really helped the University of Kashmir to start with.
Yes.
So I think his question is based on that one. So that lab has been established there in University of Kashmir, wherein CCMB only handholded. But I have taken this as a very important point. Maybe after some time I'll be able to give you some updates.
So last question, please,
मैं
because we have
टाइम्स ऑफ भारत से मैं कह रहा था कि अभी आपने मेंशन कि बहुत सारे टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम किया, खासकर जो सोसाइटी को इम्पैक्ट कर सके, सीवर्स, मैनुअल स्कैन, जी बहुत बड़ा इश्यूज है. फिर दिक्कत कहाँ आ रही है सर? मतलब दिल्ली, मतलब आप, क्योंकि ये ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर्स काम करते हैं, म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशंस होगी, स्टेट्स होगी, यूडी मिनिस्ट्रीज होगी, तो कम से कम उनसे तो टाई अप करके हम एटलीस्ट दिल्ली में कर सकते हैं इश्यूज को लेके.
बहुत बढ़िया.
फिर और दूसरा सर, एक और उसमें पराली को लेके या फिर एयर पॉल्यूशंस को लेके, क्योंकि अर्बनाइजेशन एक बहुत बड़ा इश्यूज है और पॉल्यूशन इतना ही बड़ा इश्यूज है, तो उसको लेके भी कोई सेक्टोरियल आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं क्या, जिसका इम्पैक्ट हम देख सकें कहीं भी?
नहीं, बहुत बढ़िया प्रश्न किया आपने. इसके लिए प्रयास तो जारी है. जैसे मैंने कहा, इंटेग्रेशन हो, सेक्टरल इंटरवेंशन, टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरवेंशन सेक्टर्स तो अभी 4-5 साल से हुई, पहले तो था नहीं. लेकिन दिक्कत आपने पूछा, तो अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत कहाँ आ रही है, दो आई मे साउंड लिटिल अनकन, वो आ रही है माइंडसेट में. पर्पल रेवोल्यूशन को लेकर के हमने इतना ढोल बजाया, वेबिनार किए, और वो लड़के लाए जो ब्रांड एम्बेसडर्स, उसके बावजूद उन्हीं के 4 किलोमीटर के रेडियस में आपके नौजवान बैठे हैं 6000 नौकरी के लिए धरने पे. वो ये सक्सेस स्टोरी नहीं देख रही है, लाखों रुपया कमा रहे हैं. और हमारी शुरुआत हुई थी जिस लड़के से, उनका खेत था. I mean, these are the success stories. I don't want to say so, but the media also, could have done more to make things otherwise. इतनी बढ़िया सक्सेस स्टोरीज है. उसका खेत था एक मक्की का. They were not ready to spare when they started the Roma mission. तो आधा हेक्टेयर बचा हुआ था. उन्होंने कहा साहब यहीं पे लगाने दो हमको. जब लेवेंडर लगाया और लाखों रुपया मिलने लगा तो उन्होंने कहा साहब आप सारा हमारा खेत ले लीजिए. दैट इज़ हाउ इट स्टार्टेड. आज उसी एरिया में वो शायद भद्रवा जहाँ इन्होंने लेवेंडर कल्टीवेशन, लेवेंडर फेस्टिवल लगाया इन दी हिली टेरेन्स ऑफ जम्मू कश्मीर, लगभग 4-5 हज़ार बच्चे जुड़ गए. दूसरा, हमारे माइंडसेट में जो पढ़े लिखे हैं उनके माइंडसेट में घुसा है कि स्टार्टअप मीन्स IT, स्टार्टअप मीन्स इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, एग्रीकल्चर मीन्स 2 बीघा ज़मीन, मदर इंडिया. वो निकल ही नहीं रहा. आजकल आपको खेत में गए बगैर खेती होती है. यू सिट ऑन द कंप्यूटर, द सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड डिक्टेट्स यू व्हाट क्रॉप टू सो. देन यू प्रेस द बटन, द ड्रोन गोज एंड डज द इरीगेशन. सिंचाई भी कराता है, पेस्टिसाइड भी डालता है और न्यूट्रिएंट भी डालता है. आपको यू डोंट इवन हैव टू प्लाउ द हल. मतलब ये सारी, बिकॉज आज वी हैव एग्री टेक्नोक्रेट्स, एग्री स्टार्टअप्स. हमारा स्टार्टअप का कॉन्सेप्ट इज कन्फाइंड टू IT एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, वेयर एज हमारा सारा रिसोर्स इंडिया का है विच इज़ वेरी एक्सक्लूसिव रिसोर्स इज एग्रीकल्चर रिसोर्स विच नो अदर कंट्री हैज़. उस तरफ हमारा ध्यान नहीं गया. इसीलिए मैं कल भी कह रहा था कहीं कि अगले 25 साल जब हम कहते हैं कि हम वर्ल्ड इकॉनमी बन रहे हैं तो वो वैल्यू एडिशन कहाँ से होगी? वैल्यू एडिशन इन अनएक्सप्लोर्ड सेक्टर से होगी. और इसके लिए अच्छा तीसरा ये है कि कई बार हमें लगता है कि जो स्टार्टअप का काम है वो केवल विज्ञान का विद्यार्थी कर सकता है. इट इज़ नॉट सो. अब ये जो अरोमा मिशन बता रही हैं, बिकॉज इनोवेशन इज़ नॉट साइंस, इनोवेशन इज़ डिफरेंट, है ना. एवरी वर्ड इन इंग्लिश हैज़ अ डिफरेंट मीनिंग एंड कनोटेशन. ये केवल इनोवेटिव हैं ये बच्चे. इसमें से आपके जो दी सक्सेस स्टोरीज ऑफ योर अरोमा मिशन, मैनी ऑफ दोज यंगस्टर्स मे नॉट बी साइंस स्टूडेंट्स एट ऑल, मैनी ऑफ देम नॉट इवन कॉलेज गोयर्स. ये सारी बातें अगर हम समाज में लाएंगे तो ना केवल हमारा रोज़गार के नए विकल्प सामने आएंगे बल्कि जो एजुकेटेड अनएम्प्लॉयड की भी प्रॉब्लम खत्म हो जाएगी.
सर इंदु भूषण एंड देन लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चन.
मंत्री जी नमस्कार.
कितनी लाइफ सेविंग ड्रग्स की ये पेटेंट समाप्त हो रहा है ताकि ये क्रोनिकल डिजीज जो है वो सस्ती हो उसका इलाज सस्ता हो सके. और क्या ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन पे इन क्रोनिक डिजीज के लिए कोई रिसर्च हो रहा है?
ट्रेडिशनल रिसर्च तो हो रहा है लेकिन एग्जैक्ट लाइफ सेविंग ड्रग्स का डायरेक्टली आप डील नहीं करते. दैट इज द फार्मास्यूटिकल मिनिस्ट्री डील्स. वो इसमें इनके पास उसका डेटा उपलब्ध नहीं रहेगा बिकॉज ये डायरेक्टली उससे कनेक्टेड नहीं है. लेकिन जहाँ जहाँ उसका शोध करने का, अनुसंधान का विषय आता है वहाँ ये इन्वॉल्व होते हैं.
पेटेंट क्या? पेटेंट्स किसमें है अमलिंदु? वो तो फार्मास्यूटिकल्स एंड मेडिकल
एक्चुअली वो करते हैं.
मंत्री जी नमस्कार, मैं प्रदीप कुमार. व्हाट आई एम आस्किंग यू, अंडर CSI laboratory, is it enough good to compete with the developed countries laboratory, and in terms of the fund and in terms of the research?
No, very good. It's a good question. Actually, now there are 2 aspects. As far as the human resource is concerned, we are second to none. We can, in fact, we have the capacity in our human resource to compete even to the extent of making up for the lack of other resources, which is borne out beautifully by the example of space technology. When Sarabhai started space technology, he was carrying the launcher on the carrier of his bicycle, whereas Soviet Union and America were about to land on the surface of Moon. But you imagine the kind of capacity. Today, our inputs are being procured by NASA. So it's primarily our human resource which makes up for many of other constraints. Now, as far as other constraints is concerned, you rightly hinted out to the funds. This government, again, the credit goes to Prime Minister Modi. He has given very high priority to the science streams. The funding has increased. And in order to supplement that, now we also have the liberty to engage more extensively with the industry, which possibly was not happening earlier. So from that point of view, we'll have to make up. So funding part, that is exactly what we are actually now trying to make up for. But our human resource, in fact, most of the labs outside which you are talking about, NASA, are manned by Indian boys and girls. And our Trivandrum Institute, which trains for the space technology, is having 100% placement and 60% of them going out. We met the Google team in USA, all of them Indians, though they speak with American accent, that's part. But all boys and girls Indians.
And, yeah, Pradeep, ma'am has given the presentation that we have 37 state-of-the-art labs at 27 places, more than 3,000 scientists, and 4,500 technical supporting staff. So this is finally the last brief question by Bhatia. Then all dignitaries are invited for lunch at the 4th floor, please. Bhatia ji.
सर, डॉक्टर साहब मेरे को सवाल पूछना था. आपने कहा साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी इतना डेवलपमेंट कर रही है. सालों से हम सुनते आए करोड़ों अरबों रुपया खर्च हो रहा है गंगा और यमुना को साफ करने में. क्या ऐसी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है कि तुरंत उसमें काम हो जाए? और दूसरा सर, अभी आपने बात की कि डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ मिलकर साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी काम करता है. स्मार्ट सिटी बनाने में दिल्ली में गाजीपुर पर जो इतना बड़ा कूड़े का अंबार लगता जा रहा है, क्या कोई ऐसी टेक्निक नहीं है कि उस अंबार को ख़त्म करे और वो डाउन हो जाए या कोई ऐसी नई चीज़ आ जाए?
निश्चय आप ठीक कह रहे हैं भट्टे जी, वो टेक्नोलॉजी उपलब्ध है, उसका उपयोग पूरा नहीं हो रहा. जो सेक्टर्स हैं, कई जगह जानकारी नहीं है, कई जगह चूँकि इनको एंगेज नहीं किया जाता तो ये संकोच में रहते हैं. अगर हमारा एक इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज इंटेग्रेशन हो जाए, जैसे आप कह रहे हैं वहाँ कूड़ा, तो शुरू से ही हो, प्लानिंग स्टेज से ही, मैं तो ये चाहूँगा. आने वाले समय ना मालूम किस तरह से होगा, लेकिन हमने जो थोड़ा समय अवधि मिला है उसमें कोशिश की कि ये इंटेग्रेशन शुरू से होना चाहिए. इंडस्ट्री का भी इंटेग्रेशन शुरू से, सेक्टोरल इंटेग्रेशन. जब आप प्लानिंग करने बैठे हैं स्मार्ट सिटी की, तो उसी समय से आप CSIR के साथ एंगेज है, ना कि जब नाली बंद हो गई तब उनको बुलाया. तो वो प्रॉब्लम हमारे यहाँ वो नहीं हो रही. मे बी अब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उसको इवॉल्व करेंगे.
Thank you, friends. I thank the Honorable Minister and DG CSIR for this wonderful press meet. I invite all the dignitaries to please join for lunch at 4th floor cafeteria.
Sir, on behalf of PIB, we also have Shri Kanta Rao, Additional Secretary in the Ministry.